Hey everybody, I'm Yvonne Williams with Back to Earth Creations, and in this video I want to show you guys how to merge beadwork, just some strung beads, with spiral chainmail to make a really cool, like, kind of half and half bracelet. So let's get started. Okay, so here you can see I have a little bit of spiral chain already set up and going. If I remember to, there'll be a link up on the screen, or at least down in the video comments, where you can see how to get your own spiral chain going. And I'm making it out of a variety of anodized aluminum colors. I also have a couple of like size 6 seed beads strung up onto just some Beaded wire. You could also use tiger tail or fireline bead stringing wire. And then I have some crimp beads, and there'll be links for all the tools and materials down in the video description below. And so I have about 8 inches of these beads strung up, and then I went ahead and looped around a little 18 gauge 1/8 inch aluminum chainmail ring, and then crimped a crimp bead with that folded over. I'll demonstrate how to do this a little later, and put a crimp cover on it. And so you guys can be, if you're following along with me, you can go ahead and start stringing up your beads. Typically I try to not use anything over 4mm because it just doesn't fit well. But you can really just use whatever you like, whatever you have. So I'm just going to keep adding some rings onto this spiral chain. Okay, so here we have our spiral chain bracelet that if you twist it one way, it makes a really pretty double helix. And if you twist it the other way, it's just a messy jumble of rings. So now from here, I want to join the ends of my beadwork with my chainmail. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up the jump ring that I've laced my beading wire around. Just open that up and just hook on that last ring. I'm going to hook on the last 2, treat it like it's an extension of the pattern. And also, while I'm down here, well, no I'm not, okay. While I'm down here, I'm going to take this ring and open it up. This is another 18 gauge 1/8 inch, and I'm going to thread it through both of them. And that's just going to give us a little bit of a continuation. I'm also going to hook on our lobster claw clasp just while I'm down here. Okay. So now from here, I do want to thread on and capture the tail of my beading wire inside those beads. And I want to keep this kind of trapped down kind of snugly. I'm not entirely certain how to do that. Well, if I had like a clamp or something here next to me, I'd use that, but I don't. So I'm just going to twist this back onto the spool, and then I'm going to use the little cover to keep that gripped on there, and that way the beads aren't sliding around everywhere on me. And so the idea is we'll just twist this up, and you can see how it starts to fall in line with the spiral pattern. And I really love doing this because this will actually keep the spiral pattern in its shape. And do you see, it's not untwisting. And this would look cool. Like, I've done this pattern with 4mm gemstone beads and just bright aluminum or copper rings. You can also do this with memory wire, but it doesn't quite lay the same. We'll do a separate video for that one. Okay, so now we're getting kind of down here on the end. I'm gonna twist to keep that nice and snug. No loose beads rolling around, because this will help me to isolate where it is that I'm gonna need to kind of draw the line for the beads. Okay, and we can look at it down here and see, okay, it's about 3 rings back that the crimp bead and everything starts to set. So then I'll want to come back, boop, probably to this one, and I'm going to go ahead and use my flush cutters to give myself just a couple of inches of extra beading wire, and I'm going to go ahead and start attaching. You know, I'm going to give myself 1 extra bead. I wouldn't mind it being a little longer on the beaded side than on the chain side, because that'll keep the chains from bunching. I'm just going to thread on. Here I have a black crimp bead, and let me pull out 2 more 18 gauge 1/8 inch rings, and I'm going to close one of them really well, because that's what I'm going to loop this through. I'm just going to thread our beading wire through that ring, and then back through the crimp wire, and then I'm going to thread it through as many of these little beads as I can, because I feel like the longer of a tail that I leave on this, the less likely it is to just rip out of the crimp bead whenever it's under stress. So to do the crimp bead, what we're going to do is, you can see on these crimp nose pliers, there's the little like kidney bean shaped one and then the round one. We're going to do the kidney bean shape first. Smoosh. And throw it on the ground. But you can see how it trapped one wire on one side and then the other wire in the other. So now I'm going to turn this and crimp it the other way. And that way it gets it nice and kind of little. Like rounds it out. And so now I'm going to take this crimp cover, which is basically a 4mm bead that's been opened on its seam, wrap that around where the crimp bead is, and then again using the round side of our pliers, kind of gently encourage that down into a little bit more of a ball shape. And so it's not quite lined up as well as I would like it to be. Just try to come at it from different angles. There we go. Now I'm going to trim off this tail here. bright aluminum. Just about 6 rings of it. These are 18 gauge 3/16, the same size as the anodized aluminum. I'm going to open 3, 2, 3, and I'm going to close 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to twist this to keep it falling in the same pattern. And I'm going to feed this through 1, 2, 3. All 3 of those rings. And again, this is something that kind of comes out a little different every time. And I'm just going to continue a 1-1 chain, as this will give me something to make it a little bit more adjustable of a bracelet. So just like that. And that's how it comes out. I think it makes a real pretty, fun, colorful bracelet. And so I'm gonna open up our lobster clasp, bring it around, and try to this is one of those instances where you can use a paper clip, or if you don't have a paper clip, you can use a safety pin. Hold it there like that. It's probably one of my favorite life hacks that I've ever encountered. Boom, just like that. And remove the safety pin, and you have a very pretty little bracelet. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with me for this tutorial. I hope it was helpful to you and that y'all learned something. And I'm really looking forward to maybe seeing what y'all make with this tutorial, what different kind of color combinations y'all come up with, like just all sorts of stuff, because I think you can make these as festive or as classy as you like. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave them down below. Sorry, I gotta do my QVC product placement, like hand modeling. But yeah, if you guys enjoy my free tutorials and would like to support the creation of more of them, as well as participate in my fairy house giveaways, please check me out on Patreon. There'll be a link down in the video description below. Kinda you have to scroll past all the materials, but it's down there, I promise. Pledges start at just $1 a month and work their way up from there, and we've got a whole bunch of cool different tier levels that you can choose from and different things like that. So thank you again, guys. Happy crafting, and I'll see y'all around. Bye.